Pressure is 4.58 millimeter of mercury. Now coming to the critical point. So critical point is a point at a particular pressure and temperature in which both the liquid and gas phases of a substance exist. Both the liquid and gas will exist. In triple point, solid, liquid and gas will exist. And critical point is a temperature in which both the liquid, this is the liquid phase, and the gaseous phase will exist in equilibrium with each other. Is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for water, the critical point is 373 or near to 374 degrees Celsius. You know the boiling point of water is just 100 degrees Celsius. So for water, the critical point is 374 degree Celsius at a pressure of 218 atmospheric pressure. Okay, is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please remember this graph. This is very important in your exam. You have to draw it. Just 1 minute. Now my question is whether the critical point temperature or the triple point temperature is greater. Did you understand my question? My question is whether the critical point or the triple point temperature is greater. Yeah, tell me.
Critical
Critical point.
Yeah, in case of pressure and temperature, usually the critical point is greater than that of the triple point. So in water, you can see critical point is 373 degrees Celsius, while in case of triple point is just 0.01 degrees Celsius. And the pressure also is more in case of critical point. Okay, this is the same figure. Okay. So this is the difference between critical and triple point. So please go through it. Now coming to polymorphism. So when a substance exists in more than one crystalline form, that phenomena is known as polymorphism and the types are known as polymorphs. For example, carbon has got two polymorphs. One is a diamond and the other one is graphite. So polymorphs are usually classified into two types. One is enantiotropic and monotropic. So in enantiotropic, one polymorph can be converted into another by changing the temperature or pressure. Example, sulfur. In monotropic in case of enantiotropic, that change. For example, sulfur may have different forms. One form can be converted into another, and that conversion is reversible in nature. That is the important point. In polymorph, one form can be converted into another, and that conversion is reversible in nature. But in case of monotropic, that conversion is irreversible in nature. Example is glyceryl stearate. So here you have the differences between enantiotropy and monotropy. So usually there will be two or three forms. One is the stable, metastable and unstable form. So in case of enantiotropic, the metastable or the unstable form can be converted into the stable form, and that conversion is reversible. You can back convert it. But in case of monotropic, the metastable can be converted into the stable, and that conversion is irreversible in nature. Second major difference is that in case of enantiotropic, this conversion is an endothermic reaction. While in monotropic, this conversion from metastable to stable form is exothermic in reaction. Is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then based on the molecular packing, there are two types of polymorphism, that is known as packing polymorphism and conformational polymorphism. Then what are the applications of polymorphism? It increases the solubility, example riboflavin. It increases the dissolution of the drug. For example, methylprednisolone. It is an steroid which is used for treating various diseases. So methylprednisolone, the type 2 has got 1.49 times more dissolution than the type 1, which is the stable form. So when the solubility as well as the dissolution increases, there is an enhanced absorption of the drug, and this polymorphism is very important for the manufacturing of a dosage form. Is it clear for you till this point?
Yes, sir.
What about others? Hariom, is it
Yes,
clear
sir.
for you?
Yes, sir.
Hariom,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now we will go to something known as liquid crystal phase. So liquid crystal means it's a phase between a solid and a liquid. It will have some of the characters of a solid as well as some of the characters of a liquid. For example, liquid crystals can flow like a liquid, but the molecules are slightly oriented as in case of a solid. Okay, so liquid crystal means it's an intermediate state between the solid and the liquid. It can flow like a liquid, and at the same time, the molecules have got some orientation or some type of arrangement, just like a solid. So liquid crystals are classified into smectic, nematic, and cholesteric crystals. See, these are the differences between smectic, nematic, and cholesteric crystals. Now, these are the applications of liquid crystals. Just go through the applications. Now, we have an important dosage form known as aerosols. So, what do you mean by aerosols? Aerosols are defined as colloidal dispersion of a liquid or a solid in a gas. You have your deodorant with you. Deodorant is nothing but an aerosol, where the liquid perfume with the help of a gaseous phase comes outside. Okay. So aerosols are defined as colloidal dispersion of a liquid or a solid in a gas. So coming to components of aerosol or parts of aerosol, we have the propellant, that is the gas. We have a container. Sorry. Then we have the valve and the actuator. Actuator is used for pressing. And we have the product concentrate where the drug is present. So there are two methods of, and the commonly used propellants are hydrofluorocarbon, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, etc. So there are two types of methods of production of aerosols. One is known as pressure filling and cold filling method. So just go through it. Now coming to applications of aerosols. They are used for the administration of drugs easily. They can be directly applied to the affected parts. Aerosol application gives efficient and quick relief, and they can be administered easily. Is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just please hold on. Okay, next is the glassy state. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So glassy state means it's a non-equilibrium, non-crystalline state of matter which appears as a solid for a short time and then it becomes slowly relaxed into a liquid state. So it is neither a purely a solid nor purely a liquid. Then we have the eutectic mixture. So eutectic mixture is defined as a mixture of two or more components which do not interact to form a new chemical compound, but they have a melting point lower than that of the individual melting points. For example, if a solid A and solid B is there, and if they are having a melting points of X and Y respectively, then when you mix them, they do not mix or they do not undergo any chemical reaction, but that mixture will have a melting point less than that of the melting point of A or melting point of B. Is it clear for you? Eutectic mixtures.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So example is ibuprofen, thymol in the ratio 2:3. Even menthol camphor, I don't remember the ratio. Menthol camphor also can be considered as an example of eutectic mixture. Then we have various applications of eutectic mixture. So there comes to an end of chapter 1 of unit 2. Is it clear for you? Any doubt to be discussed or any topic to be explained again? Yes, Ananya?
No, sir.
Any doubt?
No, no, sir.
Manish, Shirsad, is it clear for you? Manish, is it
Yes,
clear
sir.
for you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Dhanasri, Kulehar, is it clear
Yes,
for you?
yes, sir.
Nikita Karle.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rahul Torat, is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Vaishnavi Kilgandre, is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is all about unit 2, chapter 1. Okay. So we'll go, please wait, we'll go to the next chapter. Please wait for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, we'll go to the next unit. Sorry, next chapter. Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.